Today I'm talking a topic that you might want to skip over in like your naturalness, but I'm telling you, hang with me. I'm going to share some nuggets about bookkeeping. I know it's not like a fancy dancy topic when it comes to running your business. We'd much rather talk about the new design tools or the new tech, or for me, the new systems. But bookkeeping is truly an important part of your business, and it really is just helping you see what's coming in and going out of your business on a monthly basis so that you know where your money is going and where it's coming from. So I, at one point in my history, was a controller of a restaurant group. And a controller just means like, I did the money stuff. So I did all of the bookkeeping, all the accounts payable, accounts receivable, the payroll, and I just like forecasted out where we were going and all that stuff. So the money stuff does come naturally to me, but I'm telling you, there is a way to look at what bookkeeping looks like, and I know I'm going to say it, it's going to make you cringe, your monthly bank reconciliation. Okay, it doesn't have to be scary. Like, it will be okay. I'm Lauren with The Smarter Creative, and I'm helping creative small business owners work smarter in their business instead of harder. I'm going to share today just my bank reconciliation process, how I do this for my businesses, and I do have plural businesses. I have my consulting business. My husband and I have a construction and home remodeling business, and I also have a fair trade social entrepreneurship business where I sell beautiful jewelry and clothes and all the good stuff. So every month I reconcile 3 different businesses. They each have bank accounts, credit cards, lines of credit, like there's money everywhere, and it's a lot. So I had to create a process and a system to help me not be super overwhelmed by it. And yeah, you can hire a bookkeeper, and if that is in your budget, do it. Pass off all of this stuff to them. Let them help you and tell you and run these reports. That's awesome. But if you are not doing that, instead like giving everything to your accountant on like an annual basis for them to figure all of it out, you are spending so much money if your accountant is actually doing like your receipts and all of that. Like, your accountant should really just be putting your taxes together. They should not be doing all of your receipts and things. And also, I am talking about US-based businesses. I'm sure I have some friends from around the world here on my channel, but I know nothing about your accounting practices or your ways of reporting your taxes and stuff. I only know the US side of things. And even that, it's only a bitty bit, because I'm not an actual bookkeeper. I just have it in my past, and I'm not afraid of it. And I have an accountant I trust to tell me when I do things wrong. So there's that. So the first thing I'm going to recommend is you go and you start a account up with Wave apps. Wave apps, and I will link it below, and hopefully it's on the screen. But Wave is a free accounting system that is similar to QuickBooks, but free. And it's actually what I use for my husband's construction business. We do all of our billing, invoicing, quotes, everything through that. And we track all of our clients and the expenses that he has all inside of Wave. And then I use it for all of my bookkeeping for my other 2 businesses as well. But for those, I use other programs for like the sales side of things. So once you get your Wave account set up, I would highly recommend tying in your business bank account information to it, so that as you're using your bank's like debit card, writing checks, getting money into your bank account, and if you have a credit card, link that as well for your business transactions, because Wave will actually pull every single one of those transactions into the program for you, and then you just have to go line by line and like say like, oh yeah, that was a software fee, a membership fee, a meal expense, and then you get to categorize it. But you don't have to like manually input every single one of those charges. Just let it come in. Trust that everything is safe to do, and connect those accounts together so that they can work for you. And it's really a system in automizing your banking for those transactions to be easy to reconcile every month. Okay, so now that you have those two things figured out, now you're ready to actually start a monthly bank reconciliation. So for me, that means printing out my bank statement, my credit card statement, and any other statements that I use for my business. So my husband's construction business has a business line of credit that we'll use for larger purchases to help us with our accounts payable and receivable and stuff. So I get all of those together, and I'm a little old school. I like to have them on paper. It's how I've always done this. You possibly could just pull them up on a PDF on your desktop so you can just see them and go through them, but I like to hand write on each of these statements, and that's a me thing. It does not have to be a you thing, especially if you don't have a printer. That happens. But you want to get all those documents together for the month. And honestly, when we started, I just had a bank statement and we used our debit card and checks and stuff to pay for things. All right, so you have your statements, you have your Wave account, and now we're going to go into our transactions and go line by line for that month, everything that came in and everything that went out. And we're going to check the chart of account. So really it's just the way that expense or that income is classified. And for that overarching, you might want to talk to your accountant if you have cost of goods sold versus operating expenses, that an accountant can help you out with, or a bookkeeper, or a really good blog. I'm not that person. So your Wave is ready, your bank accounts are ready. I also at this point like to go through and dig out of every purse and wallet, my husband's wallet and whatever, every receipt that I can find. I have a folder inside of my email account that is just labeled receipts, and I have that ready to go so I can see where money has come in and out of. Because if I have any transactions that did not go through my banking information that's connected to my business account, and instead it was a personal payment, I used a personal card to pay for something, but it was a business expense, I need to make sure that that comes into my business account as an expense because it's a write-off and that's what it was. Otherwise, I'm just spending my own money without telling the government, don't take those taxes because that was a business expense, if you feel me. So you want to make sure you're tracking all of your expenses and incomes. And for me, I know monthly is a lot, but if I get too far out of a month or two, I forget things. I forget that I made a special purchase with my travel credit card because I wanted those mile perks instead of using my debit card. So I like to keep things pretty close when I do my reconciliations, so I'm not too far removed from those charges, which also happens if you wait till the end of the year to do this, then you're way far removed from anything earlier in the year. So let's just not wait that long. So everything is gathered. Now we're gonna go into our transactions inside of our Wave and look at them line by line, categorize them, make sure everything matches. At this point, I use my bank statements. I really put check marks next to every piece in my bank statement to make sure, oh, yep, that's accounted for, that's accounted for, that's accounted for. This is really a fast process. What happens, it takes a little bit longer now, is when I have those receipts that I paid for as a business owner. And here is where I want to create a journal entry. I'll show you where on the screen. So we create a journal entry. I like to just date it for the end of the month because I recognize that all of those expenses came in for the end of the month. But if I had any expenses that I paid for out of my pocket, I create a journal entry and I start to list those out. The debits are what I'm taking against for my expenses, and see here how that looks like. And then once I get all of those purchases that I made as the business owner, my very last line item then is going to be in my owner draw, owner equity, whatever. And then I'm going to put the opposite dollar amount of that total in that column because that's the money that I put into my business out of my pocket this month because I bought things for the business. So I want to make sure that that is there. And then I save that journal entry, check it off. It's great. Now I do the same thing, create a journal entry for my for my credit card processing fees. Because I do my billing inside of Dubsado, for my one business, Dubsado, my billing comes into my Wave based on the amount of money that hit my checking account. Well, that is a Stripe or a PayPal deposit. And that deposit is not what I billed my client. It is a difference, right? Like, so it's what I billed my client less the credit card processing fees, and then that's what got deposited into my account. But I want to make sure that like in between those credit card processing fees that should have been like labeled income are in my banking. So I go ahead and I've created an automation that zaps every Stripe and every PayPal amount that I've received into Airtable, and it'll actually track my income and then put the fees, like what the actual amount was minus the fees and then the final amount. So on a click of a button, I can see like what fees I had to pay out for that month, because otherwise it's a little daunting going like line by line calculating the fees for every purchase. Like I could not do it anymore. I had to automate it. So once I have gone through and figured out all of my processing fees for the month, I create a journal entry. I have a line item for my Stripe fees and one for my PayPal fees. And then my journal entry needs to be balanced. Like your journal entry always has like what's coming in and what's going out. Like it always should match to zero. What's coming in then, like the match to that journal entry then is my sales. It's my income. So credit card fees went out and got paid, and then that went against the sales that I should have received. So that is my journal entry and balancing out, recognizing my credit card processing fees. For my husband's business that actually uses Wave to invoice, people who pay through Wave will actually tell me how much my credit card processing fees were for every transaction that closed out through one of their invoices paid through them, which is amazing and super hands-off, but Wave doesn't do everything else that Dubsado does, so it's fine. I will do this extra step for my monthly bank reconciliation because Dubsado does all my email follow-ups and forms and schedulings and everything else. I can do this part. It's fine. I know Dubsado hooks up to QuickBooks. It does not currently hook up to Wave, and I think even another platform. But I think both of the platforms that Dubsado hooks up to, you have to pay for them, and I just don't want to pay for something else. So I do this. It works for me. So now we have gone through all of our transactions. We've gotten our journal entries in. We are ready to actually like reconcile the books, which this, as long as you did everything right, shouldn't even matter. But this is going to be in this setting where it says reconciliation, and then it has each of your accounts that are tied to your Wave, and you can go through and reconcile each one of those accounts. So I reconcile my bank account, any credit card accounts, and this helps me catch anything I might have missed, especially with credit card accounts. If I miss like the $8 finance fee or interest fee, it'll tell me here if there was a service charge or something that didn't line up in the line items. This always makes sure I catch everything that came out of my business financially. Now that you have your bank accounts and everything reconciled based on what was actually spent, what actually came in, you are money. You have all that information at your fingertips. You can run a P&L from month over month. You can pull up your balance sheet to see how much money you personally have either put in or taken out of the business this year, that month, whatever it is. And you get to be in control of the knowledge of what's happening inside of your business. If you do have the money to work with a bookkeeper, hallelujah, like amazing. But if you are choosing to not do this, and at the end of the year, you're either scrambling or you're paying an accountant to do this for you and getting charged an exorbitant amount of money, this is when you should evaluate and be like, hey, am I willing to learn this and do this or not? And I think you can learn to do this. Everything is figure outable. It just got to click in your brain, and it's really not that hard. And if you have any questions, go talk to your bookkeeper, talk to an accountant, talk to whoever, and just ask for clarity on how to do these things. I love Wave. Wave is free. It unfortunately doesn't tie into Dubsado. Dubsado ties into QuickBooks and Zero, I think, but I believe both of those are paid. If they are free, please let me know and I will make the switch over for my personal businesses. I'd love to know, because I'm just teaching you what I know, and I know Wave. And I know how to stay organized inside of it. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. I'd love to know that this was helpful. If you enjoyed me learning from me, do subscribe to my channel. I put new videos out every week on different systems and ways and tricks to run your business smarter rather than harder. I love all things nerdy systems, but I'm also a creative at heart. So if that aligns with you, do subscribe, turn on those notifications, and I'm gonna see you guys next week with hopefully not as boring a topic if you found that boring.